Penguin Random House Audio presents The Power of Love, Sermons, Reflections, and Wisdom to Uplift and Inspire. This is the author, Bishop Michael Curry. To my wife, Sharon, my daughters, Rachel and Elizabeth, and my entire family and friends who show me love's power every day. Introduction. I don't actually know how Prince Harry and Meghan Markle came to the decision to ask me to offer the address at their wedding, and maybe I don't need to know. I could well imagine the logic of it, though. A British prince and an American bride desire a message from some figure who represents both of their worlds. They agree on the presiding bishop of the Episcopal Church, the United States-based church that descends from the Church of England and remains in close communion with it. There's something poetic about that. Her heritage is African American, and so is the bishop's. Here was a marriage that brought cultures together, brought countries together, brought the world together. Maybe they wanted a word from someone who understood and even represented our shared longing for reconciliation. But I wasn't privy to their decision-making process. What I can tell you is when the Reverend Canon C.K. Robertson, my canon for ministry beyond the Episcopal Church, called to say the royal family would like to know if I would be available to preach a wedding on May 19th, I thought he was pulling my leg. This couldn't be serious. But they were serious. This was real. Once that sunk in, I remember saying to myself, okay, breathe. You preach all the time. This is what you do. The gospel hasn't changed, so let it be. So I ask the questions you ask any time you're preparing a sermon. First, who's the congregation? Who are you talking to? Especially for weddings, and I remember this from my days as a parish priest. You always address the couple. They are the congregation you're speaking to. By speaking to them authentically, you end up talking to their family and friends and whoever is assembled. In this case, the assembled group was the world, but the principle still applies. Next, what is the gospel? What's the good news that you think Jesus is trying to say to them? That part was surprisingly easy. They chose the biblical text from the Song of Solomon, chapter 8. Up to that point in Song of Solomon, you're reading mostly love poetry between these two people, a very real, very human love. Then, in the 8th chapter, the woman stops. She shifts and begins to realize that the love that they're experiencing for each other, that love has its source in something that's bigger than the two of them. That's why the rabbis included this text in the Hebrew Scriptures. They saw the connection between the love of the two in the poem and the God who is love and who is the source of all genuine love. The miracle is that we all got to experience that love, what the text was actually describing, in the moment of that wedding. We witnessed the love of these two people. We witnessed something bigger, the source, God, while we were watching them. For a while, this powerful love brought us all together. People of different political persuasions, different racial and ethnic groups, different socioeconomic groups. God used a very human love to show us a glimpse of what God's dream, God's shalom or peace, is for the whole world. Whatever sermon I actually preached was only an attempt to find words for that. I might have been preaching about the power of love, but God was giving people an experience of that power. God preached the sermon that really mattered. Our words can only point to it. You know it when you see it, when you're part of it. Part of me wishes I could take the credit, but I can't. I'm glad I was 65 years old when this occurred. At age 65, I know none of this is about me. I know the gifts I bring to the table, and I also know my limits. Since the wedding, I've had surgery for prostate cancer and felt utterly vulnerable and small in this world. That's why I can say this. Everything people have said about the magic of that sermon
Sample complete. Ready to continue?